The largest crowd ever expected at Livestrong Sporting Park tonight. LA looked to close in on Salt Lake, and the Cascadia Cup is on show for all to see next on The Daily. Hey everyone, welcome to The Daily here on MLSsoccer.com. It is Friday, September 14th. I'm Josh Wisenhunt, joined here by Andrew Wiebe. Andrew, good morning. And we have two big Friday night matches coming up for you tonight. The first one, Andrew, Sporting Kansas City, Houston Dynamo, 8:30 p.m. on NBC Sports Network. The largest crowd ever at LSP expected for this one.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a surprise considering the crowds they've had over the last 2 years at that stadium. Of course, the big match to think about with this one is last year's Eastern Conference Finals. Houston going into Livestrong Sporting Park and taking that game away 2-0. Sporting KC haven't beat them since then, so you have to think that they're going to be chomping at the bit in this one. Jacob Peterson expected to be back. That's a huge get for a Sporting Kansas City side that's without Teal Bunbury. And of course, Houston looking to continue that shutout streak that they've built on throughout this season. Of
course, massive playoff implications in that one. Houston, with a win, can move up to second place in the Eastern Conference, leapfrogging Chicago Fire. And of course, Sporting Kansas City, if they manage to grab the 3 points, it will keep pace with San Jose Earthquakes in that Supporters Shield race. The other match, Andrew, of the night, 11 p.m. Univision Deportes, LA taking on Colorado. LA are on a roll recently.
Yeah, they are really rolling, and they've been doing it with and without their star players. They've got a new one in the fold now, Christian Wilhelmsson. He looks like he's going to make that debut, likely off the bench at this point. But Landon Donovan says he is excited to see what this guy can do for that team. That's the wide service they've been talking about that they've been missing. The other big question surrounds Donovan. Will he play? Will he be recovered from that injury that kept him out of those Jamaica matches last week? Looks like he may, looks like he may not. We don't know at this point. No tipping of the hand. It seems certain he'll at least be on the bench, though.
And it would be a big boost if they could get both those guys on the field tonight for Bruce Arena's side. Again, it's 11 p.m. Univision Deportes, LA and Colorado. We will have full coverage before and after on MLSsoccer.com. Moving on to Saturday's schedule, Andrew, for the first time since 2008, you will be able to catch Major League Soccer on a major television network. It's the Cascadia Cup. Portland and Seattle. This one will be on NBC at 3:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, Josh, and of course the atmosphere expected to be amazing as always. You know the Timbers Army will get up for this one with the Cascadia Cup in the balance if Portland managed to get 3 points. Remember, they did win earlier this season at Geldwin Field. That will be a Cascadia Cup title for them here in 2012. Kind of a consolation prize after Gavin Wilkinson said yesterday, you know what? Playoffs, they're probably out of our reach. We're playing for the Cascadia Cup at this point. It's what he said, the second most important trophy for them behind MLS Cup. Seattle, on the other hand, they're still pushing for that Supporters Shield and still a huge rivalry for them. A lot of fans in town, they'll want the 3 points as well.
Of course, that first meeting of the year at Geldwin, Portland Timbers walked away with a 2-1 victory. We'll see if they can duplicate that. That's 3:30 p.m. Saturday on NBC. The second big match of the day, Andrew, that we're going to highlight, Dallas hosting Vancouver. Some big playoff implications in this one when you're talking about the Western Conference and two teams that are headed in pretty opposite directions right now.
Yeah, FC Dallas on their way up by any means, and then Vancouver, they have to be very happy that the break came at this time when it came to those international games. They had really been struggling, but if FC Dallas managed to get these 3 points, and it's looking like they're probably the favorites going to this game with David Ferreira back, Blas Perez finally starting to find his form, and Breck Shea doing some things now, that could be a 1-point lead there for Vancouver in the Western Conference, and that's certainly not where Martin Rennie wanted to be at this point in the season.
No, certainly not. Vancouver holding on to that 5th spot by the skin on their teeth. That one's 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. You can catch it on MLS Live. And finally, Andrew, some big player news yesterday with a 4.6% chance the San Jose Earthquakes, they keep on winning. They are the winners of the Marcus Tracy lottery. He was allocated to Frank Gallup's side yesterday afternoon.
Yeah, the rich get richer from a forward perspective. So many productive guys in that forward stable right now. You have to think that Marcus Tracy is not going to play a role this season, especially with the injury troubles he has suffered through. But he could be a big piece for them going forward. A lot of potential from this guy, and if they do manage to snatch one of those CONCACAF Champions League spots, that's some great forward depth going into 2013.
We'll have to wait and see what kind of impact Tracy will make as a new player on that San Jose roster. And we'll also have to see 5 p.m. Eastern today, Andrew, is the roster freeze deadline for all teams to finish up their moves. We talked to Frank Klopas yesterday on Extra Time Radio. He talked about some potential transactions for the Chicago Fire.
Yeah, they're certainly going after Mexican forward Guillermo Franco, talking to him, seeing if they can work out a deal before 5 p.m. Klopas saying, he's a guy that we would like to add to the roster, a guy that can help you in tight spaces when teams won't let guys like Dominic Aduro get behind. Make sure you listen to Extra Time Radio, though. We also talked to Sebastian Salazar about that injury to Dwayne De Rosario in D.C. and catch Tiro Libre, Jaime Castrillon on to talk about the Colorado Rapids season.
Lots going on at MLSsoccer.com. 3 more names revealed today in 24 under 24, the last 3 before we move into the top 5 next week. And be sure to check out MLS 36 on the site as well, featuring Seattle Sounders forward Freddie Montero. Good timing with the Cascadia Cup matchup coming up on Saturday. That does it for us here on The Daily. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday.
Scoring phenom Freddie Montero looks to keep Seattle in the hunt for the Western Conference crown as they travel to Portland to take on scorer Chris Boyd and the Timbers. Major League Soccer, Portland versus Seattle, September 15th on NBC.